Hi, I'm Bob. I've been blind since birth and I am into Power Rangers. So if you like what you see in the video, share, like, subscribe, notification button, all that YouTube stuff. So if there are any totally blind subscribers or viewers of this video, that's an oxymoron if you think about it. What I'm holding in my hands here is the complete Mighty Morphin Power Rangers DVD series box set, sadly discontinued by Shout Factory. I thought I'd use this as a little visual aid to go into the video itself. I got a comment a couple days ago from YouTuber Snowy Days, and they asked me to come up with my top five favorite seasons of Power Rangers, and it was so difficult for me to choose. I think this, for me, varies from month to month. So, boy, but it was still difficult to choose. There are so many gems that have been created throughout the years when it comes to this franchise. So let me see. Number five would have to go to Dino Thunder. Power Rangers Dino Thunder was fun because we got to see the return of Tommy Oliver, portrayed by Jason David Frank. That was awesome to see him come back. And now he is a mentor. He's like a Zordon to this new group of Rangers that he's having to train. And he's also having to teach a class. So I'm sure he's got all kinds of stress to deal with. Not to mention he's got a new big bad in the form of Mesogog out to get him. So this guy, I mean, he's got a lot on his plate. I love Mesogog. I mean, I wish Hasbro would release a 2-pack in their Lightning collection with Mesogog in both of his forms, because I want to see if this guy's as creepy as he sounds in the only way I can see him. So let's see what else. We get this fun, evil White Ranger arc, and there's a lot of family drama involved in this. A lot of family drama spread throughout the whole season, and it's cool to kind of see father against son without giving too much away. Although if you haven't seen the show by now, what you doing? Go watch it. So number five is Dino Thunder. Number four would have to be Power Rangers Zeo. And boy, did that show ever begin where a massive cliffhanger ended. I mean, I remember watching the command center blow up at the end of Mighty Morphin one Saturday morning in February. I remember watching a lot of this Mighty Morphin and Zeo Turbo Space stuff as it aired, because I mean, I was a 90s kid. I'm a former 90s kid. So not knowing what the heck would happen for 2 months was just insane. We got all these little sneak peeks of Zeo tagged on to reruns. So while I was taping episodes on TV, I also taped some of the old Zeo promo sneak peek thingies. You can see those on YouTube whenever you want. But yeah, Zeo was amazing. We got to see Rita and Zed ousted by the Machine Empire. We got to see some new big bads in space. We got to see King Mondo, Queen Machina, Prince Sprocket, and Sprocket's older brother Gasket. We got to see Gasket's wife, Princess Archerina. All kinds of mechanical monsters. We got to see new Zords. I remember when the toys came out. It was like maybe 3.5 to 4 weeks before Zeo aired. I was spring breaking in Memphis, Tennessee as a 12-year-old, and somebody just starts, describing all these new Zords while we were at Target, and I had a bunch of allowance saved up, so I nabbed the Zeo Megazord and the Red Battle Zord. I had to have someone walk me through how to transform and combine them for the first time, and it was an insane season. We got to see Austin St. John coming back as the Gold Ranger. We got to see Rita and Zed trying to reinstate themselves in their Moon Palace midway through the season. And we got to see this, civil war at the end of Zeo between the forces of Zed and Rita and the forces of Mondo and Machina. That was pretty fun. I wish it had lasted more than a single episode. It would have been cool if it had been like a 3-parter. We got to see a lot more chaos as the bad guys fought amongst themselves. But what a season that was. Number 3 that's got to be Mighty Morphin. And I know what some of you are thinking, but Mighty Morphin, it's always number one on every fan's list of Power Rangers everything, isn't it? I mean, it's always number one on monster lists and Megazord lists and episode lists and all kinds of lists, but you'll see my reasoning when we get to number one. And like I said, this does vary from month to month. Mighty Morphin is very special because I cut my teeth on this thing in the 90s. It's what a lot of us former 90s kids started out on, man. We were there during the big prime time debut of Lord Zed. We watched it from week to week. We didn't have Netflix. We didn't have DVDs. We were kept in the dark from week to week as this big 3-part episode aired of, Lord Zed showing up and freezing the Zords of our heroes. And then I was there with a group of friends that October in 1994 when Tommy was revealed as the White Ranger. They stretched this miniseries out for 2 episodes, so we were all hoping it would be him, as a certain ranger said in that particular 2-parter, and we weren't disappointed. And then I remember being with a big group of friends during Valentine's Day week when Rita married Zed. We got to see that thing as it aired, and it was just a all-around fun 3-season run from start to finish. I don't think I minded Rita returning. I think she and Zed made a cute couple, and I still do. They have great chemistry. So yeah, Mighty Morphin is number 3. Number 2 would have to be Power Rangers in Space. This show, to me, felt like the ending of an era when it aired back in the day. It did. It felt like the ending of an era. So, I mean, you got to see the United Alliance of Evil in full force. You got to see Rita and Zed returning for a little bit. You got to see Divatox from Turbo returning. You got to see the Machine Empire doing their thing. You got to see Piranhatrons again. And it was just an insane 43 episode long run. I mean, you got to see the Ninja Turtles meet the Power Rangers for the first time. And we got our full-on team of evil Rangers, the Psycho Rangers, for the first time in this big, epic 6-part miniseries. Man, it was something. And, I mean, Astronema was a very memorable big bad, in my opinion. She had this very sinister, soft-spoken, yet childlike voice. And I to this day, I mean, it's really hard to top her as a big bad. I loved seeing how her character went through some interesting changes when we get to see her again in Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. I love what they did with her character and the hurdles she had to overcome and things about herself that she had to face. So yeah, Space is number 2. Number 1 is Power Rangers Hyperforce. And Hyperforce, it's not your typical Power Rangers series. This thing was a tabletop gaming series, but it's a love letter to Power Rangers fandom as a whole. I mean, there's time travel involved in this particular 25 episode run, and you get to see the Hyperforce revisiting so many different integral moments throughout Power Rangers history. The big bads are trying to change everything, and time itself is it's in danger. So you've got this new team, but you've got these original cast members who come and sit down at this gaming table, and they're reprising their roles as like you get Karen Ashley back as Aisha. You get Jason David Frank returning as Dr. Tommy Oliver. You get to see Jason David Frank in the Boom Studios comic reality as Lord Draken. And you get to see Christopher Kamen Lee returning as Andros from Power Rangers in Space during the big 2-part series finale. I mean, it's very special to me because everything in that show has to be described. Tabletop gaming is like a theater of the mind. You have to describe everything. You have to describe the fights. You have to describe your new monsters, your new Zords. It was like going into a movie theater for me, my blind since birth butt sitting down in a theater seat, popping on a headset and turning on the descriptive audio tracks and having an entire season of Power Rangers described to me for the first time. I didn't have to ask anybody what anything looked like. I mean, it was right there. I think my favorite character in Hyperforce would have to be Vesper. She is the Black Ranger, and she goes through quite a lot of interesting revelations as the story progresses. And Christina V, the player who portrays her, she's also been in a lot of anime. So, I mean, without Christina doing what she does normally, I mean, I wouldn't know what the heck was going on in terms of anime. So it was cool to see her playing a role in Hyperforce. You also get to see Paul Schreier actually stepping into the role of a ranger this time around. So that was pretty cool to see too. And he had a ball with the whole season, I think. He got a lot of laughs out of that guy. So, I mean, he was just having a high whole time. So, yeah, I think number one would have to be Hyperforce. I hope I'm not forgetting any points or anything like that. Like I said, I have months where this list is not always the same. I mean, I might rewatch something and think, "Oh man, this was also really awesome." I mean, Time Force for one. I can't believe I didn't mention that at all. I gotta love Time Force. That one had our first female Power Ranger leader, and I think one of my favorite Rangers of all time has to be Jen Scott. I mean, she was, man, just strong. She was fierce, but at the same time she had quite a big heart, quite a wonderful heart, like Vesper does in Hyperforce. So yeah, I would be remiss if I didn't mention, seasons like Time Force and SPD. There are quite a few other seasons I wish I could talk about, but I don't want to make this video into like an hour-long spiel. I don't know what the attention spans of everyone's going to be like. So I'm trying to keep these as short and as sweet as I can. So that'll do for today. I hope to maybe eventually sit down and maybe do 2 minutes, 3-minute long, maybe 5-minute long episode reviews. I have all the episodes on DVD or Netflix, so that might be something that I'd consider doing. So we might start from Mighty Morphin and see how far we work. I can't do commentaries or anything like that because I'm not really sure how to cue those up. But episode reviews might be in the works. That might be fun. So yeah, that'll do for today. May the power protect you. I will hear you guys later, and have a great day.